Hello students, good morning to all of you. In last video, we just started to learn about the second biomolecule, and that biomolecule was proteins. So we studied about alpha amino acids, its classification and properties. Then we also studied peptide bonds and types of proteins. Today we are going to study the next article, and that article is structure of protein. So let's study the structure of proteins. So proteins are responsible for variety of functions in organisms. So proteins are very important as concerned to all the living organisms. So different functions of protein can be understood by studying four level structures of protein. Different structures or different functions of protein, they can be understood by studying different level structures of protein, and these are primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of proteins. So by studying these structure, we can study the functions of proteins. So let's study the first level of structure, and that is primary structure of proteins. So primary structure of protein, it refers to number of alpha amino acids and their sequence. So primary structure of protein, it refers to number and sequence of amino acids in its polypeptide chain. So any change in the sequence of amino acid residue results in different protein. Listen once again. So any change in the sequence of amino acid, it results different protein. So primary structure is represented beginning with amino acid. Primary structure is represented by beginning with amino acid terminal. So amino acid or amino group, here it is free. This is called as N-terminal. And it forms one end of chain. So free carboxyl group, that is C-terminal end, forms the end of chain. That means there are two terminals. First one, it is the N-terminal, and second one, it is the C-terminal. So primary structure of protein, it also can be represented by writing three-letter symbols of amino acid. Primary structure of protein also can be represented by writing three letters or three-letter symbol of amino acids. So these symbols are separated by dash. These symbols are separated by dash. So primary structure of protein also can be represented by writing three-letter symbols of amino acid. So here this ALA, it is the alanine. Then this GLY, it is glycine. Then this SER, it is the serine, and so on. So primary structure of protein is represented by writing three-letter symbols of amino acid residue. So here we studied representation by structural formula and representation with amino acid symbols. After that, we are going to study the next article, and that article is denaturation of proteins. So protein present in biological system with characteristic three-dimensional structure and biological action is called as native protein. So protein present in biological system with a characteristic three-dimensional structure and biological action, such protein is called as native protein. Native protein. So here protein present in biological system with characteristic three-dimensional structure and having a particular biological action, it is called as native protein. So high temperature, acid, base and agitation, it also disturb or disrupt the shape of protein, and this is known as denaturation of protein. Listen carefully. So high temperature, then acid, then base and even agitation, it disrupt or it disturb the shape of protein, and when the shape of protein it is disturbed, this is known as denaturation of protein. So we studied denaturation of protein. So denaturation is the process by which molecular shape of protein changes. Denaturation is a process. It is a process by which molecular shape of protein it changes. Molecular shape of protein it changes without breaking amide or peptide bond that forms the primary structure. So denaturation is a process. Denaturation is a process in which molecular shape of protein changes, and this change takes place without breaking amide or peptide bond that forms the primary structure. See here, this is the coiled globular protein. So to understand the definition, we are going to study this particular figure. So globular protein, it is the coiled one, but after denaturation it loses coils and loops. That means shape of protein changes, and that is called as denaturation. So denaturation results in disturbing secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of protein. Denaturation results in disturbing secondary structure, tertiary structure and quaternary structure of protein. So this denaturation, it causes change in properties of protein and also change in biological activity. So denaturation, it causes change in properties and change in the biological activity of proteins. So here we finished denaturation of protein or the second biomolecule, and that biomolecule was protein. Here we completed the study of second biomolecule, proteins. Then we are going to study the third or next biomolecule in this topic, and that biomolecule is enzymes. We studied the first biomolecule, that is carbohydrates. Then we studied about proteins, and now we are going to study the next biomolecule, and that biomolecule is enzymes. So in living organisms, various chemical reactions are taking place continuously in their body. In living organisms, various reactions are taking place continuously in their body. For example, digestion of food, then absorption of proper molecules. So such processes are continuously taking place in the living organisms. So these reactions are brought out at physiological pH 7.4 and at body temperature 37 degrees Celsius with the help of biological catalysts, and these biological catalysts are called as enzymes. So in living organisms, various reactions are taking place in their body. So reactions in our body or reactions in living organism, they occurs at the physiological pH 7.4 and at the body temperature 37 degrees Celsius with the help of certain biological catalysts, and these biological catalysts are called as enzymes. So different examples of enzymes are insulin. First example, it is the insulin. So insulin, it is secreted by pancreas. Insulin, it is secreted by pancreas, and this insulin controls blood sugar level or sugar in blood. So remember that insulin, it is the example of enzyme. Then another example, in our body maltose converts to glucose with the help of enzyme, and that enzyme, it is the maltase. In our body maltose having the formula C12H22O11. So in our body maltose gets converted into glucose. So glucose having the formula C6H12O6. So maltose is converted into glucose by enzyme, and that enzyme is maltase. This is another example of enzyme. Then amylase is present in saliva, and it hydrolyzes starch. So another example of enzyme is amylase. So amylase, it is present in saliva. It is present in saliva, and this amylase, it hydrolyzes starch. So it hydrolyzes starch. So remember that these are the different examples of enzymes. So after studying different examples of enzymes, now we are going to study the next important article, and that article is mechanism of enzyme catalysis. So let's study mechanism of enzyme catalysis. So action of enzyme on a substrate. Action of enzyme on a substrate is described by a mechanism, and that mechanism, it is known as lock key mechanism. So action of enzyme on substrate. In our body, enzymes are acting on the substrate, and this mechanism, it is described by lock key mechanism. So the concept of lock key mechanism was developed by German scientist Emil Fischer in 1894. So this lock key mechanism was developed by German scientist Emil Fischer in 1894. So the active site, there may be one or there may be more. The active site present in colloidal particles of enzyme at which specific substrate or molecule fits. So in enzymes, active site is present. This is the active site. So in enzyme, active site is present, and on this active site, particular substrate or specific substrate or molecule, it fits. So once in the active site, once in the active site substrate is held, then reaction start. Once in the active site substrate is gets held, then reaction start. So here first of all enzyme substrate complex is formed. First of all enzyme substrate complex is formed, and then finally products are formed. Finally products are formed. So in other words, this active site, it acts like a lock which fits only the substrate or reactor, and it acts as a key. So active site it is the lock and substrate it is the key. So here the binding of substrate at the active site of enzyme, it produces enzyme substrate complex. It then decomposes to give the product of reaction, and here the enzyme it is released, and again it is ready. Again this enzyme it is ready to act as a catalyst. So thus here we studied mechanism of enzyme catalysis. So formation of enzyme substrate complex having low activation energy. This enzyme substrate complex it is formed at low activation energy. Therefore, the rate of reaction is very high. So some enzymes are so efficient that they can catalyze the reaction of 10,000 substrate molecule in 1 second. So formation of enzyme substrate complex having low activation energy. Therefore, during this reaction, rate of reaction is very high. It is found that some enzymes are so efficient that they can catalyze the reaction of 10,000 substrate in 1 second. So, enzymes can isolate from organisms. Enzymes they can be isolated from organisms, and later on they can be used in industry to carry out many specific reactions. Enzymes can be isolated from organisms. So enzymes can be isolated from organisms and they can be used in industries. To carry out many specific reactions. For example, so conversion of glucose to fructose, it is carried out by enzyme, and that enzyme is isomerase. So conversion of glucose into more sweeter fructose, it is carried out by enzyme, and that enzyme is isomerase. Then manufacture of new antibiotics can be done by penicillin G acylases. The next example is manufacture of detergent, manufacture of laundry detergents can be done by enzyme, and that enzyme is protease. Then the esters used in cosmetic, it is genetically engineered enzyme. So these are the different examples of enzymes which are used in the industries. So here we finished the third biomolecule, and that biomolecule is enzyme. So up till now we studied different biomolecules. At the start of topic we studied first of all carbohydrates, then we studied second biomolecule, that was protein, then we also studied the third biomolecule, and that biomolecule was enzyme. After finishing the study of enzyme, now we are going to study the next important biomolecule, and that is the nucleic acids. So nucleic acids, they are biological important. They are biological important polymers which are present in all the living cells. Nucleic acids are the important polymers. It is the bigger molecule, that's why it is the polymer. So these are the important biological polymers, and they are present in living cells. So their important role is biosynthesis of proteins. So they plays important role. Nucleic acid plays important role in the biosynthesis of proteins and transmission of inherent character, which is known as heredity. So nucleic acid, it is responsible for protein synthesis, and it is also responsible for the heredity character. So there are two types of nucleic acids. There are two types of nucleic acid. So the first type of nucleic acid is ribonucleic acid. First, it is the ribonucleic acid. It is called as RNA, and second one, it is the deoxyribonucleic acid. It is called as DNA. So there are two types of nucleic acid. There are two types of nucleic acid. First one, it is the RNA, and second one is DNA. So RNA is found in cytoplasm. It is found in cytoplasm, while this DNA, it is found in nuclei of living cells. So nucleic acids are of two types. First one, it is the RNA. RNA is found in cytoplasm, while DNA is found in nuclei of living cells. So in this topic we are going to study the structural aspects of nucleic acid. The structural aspects of nucleic acids. So structural units or structural aspects of nucleic acid. In this article, first of all, we are going to study the first one, that is the nucleotides. And after studying nucleotides, we are going to study the next, that is the nucleosides. So these are the structural units of nucleic acids, nucleotides and nucleosides. First of all, let's study about the nucleotides. So nucleotides, these are the polymeric chain or repeating monomers of nucleic acids. So nucleotide it contains three basic components. Nucleotide contains three basic components. In that, the first one, it is the monosaccharide, and that monosaccharide, it is the pentose sugar. So first basic unit is monosaccharide. Then nucleotide also contains nitrogen containing bases, and nucleic acid also contains phosphate group. So nucleotide of both RNA and DNA, it contains 5-membered ring monosaccharide, and that monosaccharide unit is the furanose. Nucleotide of RNA or DNA, it contains sugar, and that sugar, it is the 5-membered ring monosaccharide, and that is the furanose structure or furanose. In RNA, the sugar present or sugar component of nucleotide unit is D-ribose. In RNA, sugar or basic unit sugar is present. So pentose sugar is present, and that pentose sugar is called as D-ribose. So you please remember that in RNA, sugar component of nucleotide unit, it is the D-ribose. While the sugar component of nucleotide unit in DNA, sugar component of nucleotide unit in DNA is 2-deoxy D-ribose sugar. It is 2-deoxy D-ribose sugar. So under this, I am representing the two structural formulae of D-ribose and 2-deoxy D-ribose. D-ribose sugar is present in RNA, and 2-deoxy D-ribose sugar is present in DNA. So difference between these two structures are at carbon number 2. So here in D-ribose sugar, at carbon number 2, there is OH group present. This is the structural formula of D-ribose, or we can represent this structural formula in this way also. Both formulas are the formulae of D-ribose. So here in this formula, this H it is not written, or we can write H also. So here in D-ribose, at second carbon atom there is a presence of hydroxyl group, while the sugar present in DNA is 2-deoxy D-ribose sugar, and at second carbon atom there is no OH group. So here in D-ribose at second carbon atom there is OH group present, and in 2-deoxy D-ribose sugar here there is no OH group. So that is the basic difference in between these two, that is D-ribose and 2-deoxy D-ribose sugar. So this D-ribose sugar, it is present in RNA, and 2-deoxy D-ribose sugar is present in DNA. So here we completed the study of nucleotides. So in next video we are going to study the next structural unit, and that structural unit is nucleosides. So after studying various articles in today's lecture, now here we are going to stop. Thank you.